What's good, people? Happy Friday to you. Hope you're all doing well out there. Just finishing getting set up over here. Squirrel fishing, I believe, is the reactor ensemble today. Just tweaked heavily. Good morning, Saf. Happy Friday to you. It was good seeing you yesterday too, man. Good session. Stoles, welcome in. And thank you for the sub. Appreciate it, homie. Bunch. Salutations. How are things with you? Paul's tuning in from sunnyish Maryland. Good to hear that you got out of the gray. It is absolutely blue and sunny, shiny here. Summertime in full effect. It's like hot and stuff out there. Well, it will be. Jack of Spades, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Fan flippin-tastic, exactly. Hey, what's up, Kwame? How you doing, man? Hope you're well. Let's see. Man, we have so many posts happening in all these other channels. I want to see who's posting in the collaborations. Oh, well, look at that, Estoles. Oh, cool. Attention ambient and electronic artists. Starting in July, we're expanding the format of our ambient music stream, the Relay Station, to include guest ambient artists. I'd love to help give your material a little added visibility and play your compositions. Be considered for a guest spot, please submit your music here. Limit one song per form submission. You may submit multiple songs. And you can catch the relay through this link here. Awesome. Thank you, Stolis. Hopefully some of y'all take him up on that. Alex, who was in the stream on Wednesday, Vapor Palms in the chat, released a new EP, posted his link here. You know what? I never came back and clicked on this the other day, Kwame. I would like to learn more about Clap. I mean, seriously, everything that Urs has ever made, whether it's been Yuhi or otherwise, is absolutely brilliant. And I do think that Bitwig is pretty awesome. Just those two things alone make me want to give this a shot. Oh, cool. I love the multi-core support. Okay, well, this is really cool. For those who have not checked this out yet, I'm going to post this in the chat here. New plugin. Hey, Gebro's here. I'm doing all right, man. How are you? Excellent. Excellent. Looking forward to listening to it. Yeah, the non-destructive modulation. Amazing. Yeah, I think just the modulation, so like as that sinks in, like what they're saying about the modulation, um I can see it having um a pretty profound effect on sound design and mixing. Absolutely. Urcon, thank you for the follow. Rackback, if you're around, thank you for the follow. Yeah, some cool stuff. I'm definitely going to do a deeper dive on that. You guys have interest in watching this little video with me? And let me just turn off this background music here. All right. So this is Clap, new open standard for audio plugins, kind of being pioneered or championed by the folks at Bitwig and Yuhi. That's nice. Well, now I just want to play with some plugs that are actively using all of the features, all of the capabilities. Da, 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 da. Oh, sweet. Stuff to listen to this weekend. Awesome. Guys, keep posting cool music to the Cool Music channel. And your links, post your links, post all your, if you're streaming or if you've just dropped an album or something like that, you can share it there. That's so awesome. Nate drops a track for feedback and has to bounce the other day, and someone kindly clips the screenshot and records the feedback for him. That's awesome. Shout out to Elias for making that happen. Jamesy the Rapper's back and first up this morning. Of course, it's not morning for all of you out there, is it? Late welcome in. Good to have you back. Whoa, whoa. It's intended that clap can easily serve as the source for wrappers to other formats. Man, talk about a brilliant adoption scheme. Hmm. Splurm. Better than clap. That just sounds like a Futurama thing. All right, James E is up first. We're going to get started on the feedback here. Get us set up. All right, so this is Dancing, a depressing song from James E. the Rapper.
Dancing on my own, dancing on the stage, dancing in the mirror, dancing while awake, dancing in my room, dancing on the moon, dancing through the depression. I'ma be consumed. I assume that you are jealous too. Give me 13 reasons why that I shouldn't die very soon. I don't take any pills cause I overdosed on hate. If you wanna join me in the lagoon, we're being dead, it's okay. Dancing on my own, dancing on the stage, dancing in the mirror, dancing while awake, dancing in my room, dancing on the moon, dancing through the depression. I'ma be consumed. Fumbled and spilled my conscience. A lot of bleach to digest. Suicide is a bittersweet taste like lean, but honest. I think that I should lose myself. Really didn't help me to remember. Papa ain't gonna miss me. We are birds of the same feather. Dancing on my own, dancing on the stage, dancing in the mirror, dancing while awake, dancing in my room, dancing on the moon, dancing through the depression. I'ma be consumed.
All right. All right, so all the auto-tune stuff is good. Your vocals are sitting right on top throughout the entire thing. I think the piano could use a touch less in the lows to help achieve better definition and clarity down there. I think that there could be a small amount of overdrive added to the backing vocals to help them pop. Like maybe add the overdrive, may not even need to add any drive to the thing, but target around like 7K or something like that to generate the harmonics. And then you might want to tap it down like a dB to compensate because you'll hear a little presence boost at the same time. But it will help them kind of stand out with a little bit more edge in the background. I'd watch the mid range creep from the sub. It feels like the sub can be wrangled both high and low. I think it feels like it's maybe an open low end or 30 hertz beyond the point of hearing. So I'd bring that up a bit, maybe 40 or so, and then um, like a 24 or 36 dB per octave cut on that, and then uh, take off the stuff that's creeping into the mid-range frequencies on that sub as well, because it's pushing up against the other instruments in the mix. Um, Other than that, it's sounding pretty good. Let's see what everyone in the chat is saying. I think I think everyone must have liked it because I don't see any complaining. People are still talking about clap over here. Yeah, it's nice that it's Ableton. I mean, we're in this, or Ableton. It's nice that it's open source. Um, yeah, song was a vibe for sure. Absolutely. I think that uh, when you're around musicians and producers and a conversation starts while music is rolling, um, and nothing grabs your attention, uh, like that's standing out so much that it would stop you from talking, then that's pretty good because everyone in that room has some ears. Plate, man, we are in such a cool period of time for just like plugins and the merging of different concepts and theories in really cool ways, and gaining more control over it as we understand it all better. It's just really awesome. And Drummy is here. Welcome in, Andy. How you doing, man? Yeah, this one's nice art too, right? Yeah. And check out this slide right here from Scruffy Rico. If link isn't working, scroll down a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, this one's called She Knows. It's working. Welcome in, and some merits. Happy Friday to you guys. All right. Three things in this one that need to be fixed, and then one thing that I think could really help. Um, well, four things. All right. First, luffs. The luffs are just hot. They're it's just a little bit over compressed. So the loudness that's coming from your limiter, um, eliminate that. Roll up your sub cutoff. It feels like there's some low frequencies in there that don't really need to be there. This isn't it's not lacking in low end, and there's no competition in the low end. So those frequencies are sailing on through, and the level of the sub can come down just a little bit. This whole thing is a really, really great vibe. I think there's also a little bit too much resonance on the tom. I think it's just another byproduct of the stuff being kind of pushed a little too far with the loudness. The nice kind of textured, dusty, overblown sound is perfect in this thing. So just back off the luffs, I think. And then the one embellishment would be, from the little block that you've got, the TikTok kind of thing, and the little Foley bits. I would add a little bit of overdrive or some kind of really light, transparent saturation, and some multiband compression, just to really kind of help define them and really accent the mid-range frequencies and the mid-high frequencies. I think that they would then stand up a bit more upright in the mix, and the boom and bass and the big thick mids, I think, are it's a lot to stand up to. So maybe just a little bit of saturation on those. And otherwise, I think this thing's a freaking vibe. I love it. It's good. STP1, welcome in. Happy Friday. Saspo, welcome in. Ate my hands. Hamster, OTT. Sorry about your hamster. I guess it's like a artistic sacrifice or something at that point. It's rough. Condolences. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Samarit's, welcome in. Saf says, dreamy and lush with a relaxing vibe. He digs it. Kwame says, this slaps nicely. How are you today, STP1? Glastonbury, huh? Yeah, Saf really digs this one. Scruffy Rico, good timing, man. You are up next. Happy Friday. Hey, it's Will. Zev Music in the chat. Everybody give Zev Music a follow. He hasn't been able to stream very much, but I'm sure he's got links there. Will, you can spam the chat here. Good sir. Good sir. I don't know if shoutouts are working right now. Hey, you snuck in a stream this week. Nice, dude. Nice. Very early days, huh? Okay. All right, Scruff says, okay, this is 2 days old. This is the first version. Going to spend some time on this one. It's called Expansions. Let's check it. We got to click through to this one. Quirky. So much time. You got this. We're just getting started. It's good to have you here. Yeah, man, this is great. I feel like
Check
oh
out
man,
this verbo.
stop.
Now,
Stop. I feel like the like little aesthetic boosts um that any of us would like to hear are going to come about in the master really be. I mean, there's so much texture and stuff already tucked into the mix here. It's hard to like point at anything and say it's lacking in any way. There's a couple small things like I personally might add like a really subtle swell or something as a little transition booster. Um, Going into that last section there at 340 or so. Um, maybe just the high plex in that full mix section around 130. Those felt like maybe they were pushing the balance just a little bit. Everything else is just really good, man. Very smooth and easy. All of the sounds are working really, really well together. It's great stuff. It's really, really great stuff. Plate, yeah, yeah. It seems pretty chill so far. We've only got 22 people here, and we've got 10 something in the queue. Yeah, sure. Yeah, visuals are fun in this one for sure. Zev is loving the atmosphere, little EQ on the high end. Um, and the main 16th hats, maybe a little boost. Jack of Spades is dancing in his chair over there. Yeah, yeah, it's worth pursuing for sure. I love it. It's great. It's good. Gabriel. All right, so Gabriel always brings greatness. Let's see what he's up to this week. It's called Hooverphonic, Mad About You. Trailer cover without the top line, still searching for a singer. Okay, cool. Um, okay, I love this. This feels so good. It sounds so good. I think the subs are a little too strong, like maybe 5 dB too strong in general outside of the really big um um what's the right word? Like the intro impact and that last impact, they feel a little bit separate from all of the others. So maybe those two stay where they are, and the other ones are kind of brought down like 5 dB. There's another moment in there where there's a really like emotional pivot point too. Maybe that impact stays up where it is now. But it would make those moments just a little bit more impressive if they were that much louder and more present, more dominant. And I think that the low end in the subs can be tightened just a little bit. It feels like we're losing energy in the mix to reproducing that much presence in those lowest frequencies. So if we just eliminate some of just a little bit more of the lowest frequencies, you'll still hear and feel all of that boom, but the middle of the mix would be much clearer and more powerful, I think. The mid highs are kind of congested at 144, and I think that this all kind of feels like it's a byproduct of compression and loudness coming from the compression. So maybe a little less downward compression, a little bit more upward, maybe taking away compression where you can throughout the track on the individual instruments and replacing with some kind of saturation to kind of control the frequencies and generate more harmonics so they're being heard a little bit more readily, but not affecting the dynamic range without that dampening effect, because that's really, I think it's a combination of dampening the peaks and then pushing them up, and then they all get dampened just a little bit more with the mix compression. So I think taking away that first layer would probably feel good. And then at 236, you can kind of hear that the subs are kind of pushing against the impact of the vocals. So I guess one more reason to kind of tighten up the low end of those subs. That's what I got for you on this one. It's really, really great sound. All the pitch bends are really spot on, and like the timing and delivery of everything is really quite tasty. As per your usual, sir. Oh, sub frequencies and booms. But I think that the booms are just dominant in loudness too. I think that the bass loudness is fine. So let's see what people are saying. STP1 says Dune vibes. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Subfits is here. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? Yeah, this music definitely has a story. Absolutely. I'm digging it. Thank you, Gabriel. Stoles is up next. This is nearly the final mix, and I'm super happy with it, but would love to take this further to the next level. What say you? This one's called Can You Hear Me from Stolis. Welcome in, Travis.
Staring at the screen, green flickers to black. To my choice 20 years back. See the universe of stars, feeling so far from view. missing you. Have you been asleep? I've been writing you, but there's no sound. Transmit.
All right. This one's really good and it's fun. I want to hear this without all the extra loudness, because it felt really aggressive in I guess in the quieter moments it felt aggressive, and in the more assertive moments it felt kind of overblown. So I'd love for it to be just more organic, natural loudness, which would really blend well with the organic nature of the delivery of the whole thing because it's so freaking awesome. Um, yeah, I think this kind of feels like it's being mixed to the standards of loud bass music or something, and I don't think it needs that. I think like more of uh like a Sigur Rós kind of mix or something, or like a Bjork style mix or something with great dynamics and kind of lean in moments. Um, so when things do reach this kind of frenzied epicness, it's received as such, right? And it stands out very much apart from the rest. Um, but as far as like the composition and the arrangement and everything, this is a really fun one. This is good. This is awesome. Yeah, as Subvid says, love the vocals, more of that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Bam is doing tummy time and listening to this track and nursery rhymes. Nice, nice. I hope you're all holding up okay over there. I'm sure you're being a great dad. Jack of Spades is up next. How's the podcast gone? Travis. Trying to emulate some 70s prog on this one. Work in progress. Jack of Spades. Yeah, I mean, I think the snare can come down just a little bit. It seems a little bit louder than it maybe should be in the mix. Other than that, I mean, it sounded pretty good. Honestly, there's not really a lot to pick apart here. I'd like to know where you're going to take it. And are you playing all of the tracks? And is this all MIDI or are you recording? Because the drums really sound like they're in a space here. But they also feel a little bit on the grid, so kind of wondering what you're using for your drums. Just the guitar, the rest is all MIDI. Okay, cool. Yeah, Kwame says good start for sure. Want to add some vocals to help finish it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So until there's like vocals and stuff in the mix, it's going to be hard to judge anything in this mix. And honestly, the instruments that you're playing with here mostly naturally stay out of each other's way anyway. Let's just listen to the guitar and the placement of it for the vocals. So if you're going to have vocals in here, I would move the horns off to the side. Probably on the left. Yeah, stereo spectrum. I think that's the one thing that you could do to kind of lay the groundwork to help the vocals fit, like kind of slip right into the mix without much fuss. So keep your kick in the center. You can keep your bass in the center. Move the other things out to sides, so that way when the vocals come in, there's really not a lot of competition in the mids for whatever style is going to be put in here. Pod is going well. Good, good, good. Yeah, the live touch is nice, right? Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good then. And I say bring it back when there's some vocals too, so we can kind of keep tabs on what you're up to. Kwame says, I took the feedback from the other track I submitted last week and tried to apply it to this track as well. Hopefully the mix is getting close. All right, let's see what you're up to. Dude. Okay, Kwame, the very first thing I'm thinking of when I hear the notes coming through, like the very first second of this, I'm thinking two things. Oh, those little bits are nice. And he's not like trying to embellish them in any particular way. They're super subtle and they've got my attention. And I love this vibe. And it's very controlled. Like it's really super, like you are so tuned in right now. You are so flippin' tuned in. I want you to go back and listen to something that was like exactly 12 months ago or something and listen to how all of that stuff was being handled. I know that just like a couple months ago is far enough back, but go back a whole year, like treat yourself and just hear the difference because this is um, so much more attention to detail in so many of the things. I feel like each time you have one of these level ups, man, and I'm sure everyone in the chat probably agrees, like we've got to find something else. We've got to move to the next topic so you can keep going because you're on a flippin' roll right now. You're tearing it up, dude. It's awesome. It's really great to hear. Okay, I think the keys can come up a bit. You've got a couple in tandem. I think they can come up. I think the snare could have just a little more in the delivery. Maybe just a little small hesitation type stuff. Maybe a tiny little drag or extra hit somewhere in there. Maybe just one of them. And then perhaps a little shuffle on the Foley stuff too. Just because it's the only thing in the whole mix that really feels kind of rigid, like rigid in any way. Everything else is pretty nice. The one thing I would say about the delivery of all of the different instruments is there were a couple of points where it sounded like everything kind of started back up together. And if you just go in and just shuffle the position of those MIDI regions just ever so slightly in the mix to get the timing just a little bit off, right? I think it would go. I think it would do quite well for your mix. Just make it even more organic, right? Definitely telling a story. 240, that transition there could use like a little air reverb. The verb on the kick can be EQ'd a little tighter in the low end. Like you could roll up, I don't know, maybe like another 100 hertz or so. And those the snaps at the end, it'd be cool if you had just a little atmospheric touch from like maybe the first snap and like maybe the last one gets it as it's like fading out or something. But it'd be cool just to get a little bit more of that atmosphere like stretched out to the very end. Ooh, Subvid says, I'd like to hear some dub effects in there. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Official Jerksy. Sorry if I'm wrecking the name. You can absolutely correct me in the chat. Headphones must be really good. I hardly pick up on most of the stuff he's writing. It's just years and years of doing it, you know? Like the snap idea for sure. I'll work on that and the overall drum groove. Man, everything else is sounding so tight. Yeah, I think timing might be your next thing because you're picking up on all of this mixed stuff so quickly. Just the same exact way you did with all the arrangement stuff. You're getting good, man. No, I should say you're getting even better. That's what I should say. All right, Harry Muffin Man is next. This one's called Johas, Sally's Last Stand. Song I rapped, sung, produced, and shot, edited. Hey, you've done all of this stuff. Holy heck. All right. I already feel like maybe we should be going full screen on this. Or at least bigger.
This ain't our last dance. This ain't our last dance. authority. Jeans with the drawings, now folks think I'm RC. Look for the space for my truck to get the parking, so I can find the food control the arts get it started. Aux free so the tunes get switched up. Get the party bumping like the 808 hit ya. 2 hours past midnight, that's 202 vibes. Cause I got a 10-10 list up. Posted by the speakers and I see you fly through. We're at old schools, only seen no 2. Say you start skating, but you still pretty new. You watched some clips and thought the parts were pretty cool. Get to laughing and we talk more cap. Little ruckus starts happening in the back. Homie get pushed by a nigga tryna act. We hit his temple, but he ain't getting back up. So we cut out the front before he called back up. Slide you my number and hopefully sometime
Joe, let's go.
we can catch up. This ain't our last dance. This ain't our last dance. Didn't mean to dip out the cut and leave so abrupt, but you know what's up. But you got my number and stuff, so hit me up, I'll come rolling on trucks. Didn't mean to dip out the cut and leave so abrupt, but you know what's up. But you got my number and stuff, so hit me up, I'll come rolling on trucks. Didn't mean to dip out the cut and leave so abrupt, but you know what's up. But you got my number and stuff, so hit me up, I'll come rolling on trucks. Didn't mean to dip out the cut and leave so abrupt, but you know what's up. But you got my number and stuff, so hit me up, I'll come rolling on trucks.
I just want you to know
This ain't our last dance.
I got somewhere to go. I just want you to know
This ain't our last dance.
you can just call my phone.
Dude, I love this. Man, I love this. This is great. The video is awesome. And your pad is great. All those colors, or your friend's pad or whatever, like it's an awesome house. And the video is just great. All of the vibrant colors, just like, I don't know, it really reinforces the happy, upbeat vibe of the whole thing. So there's a couple of things that kind of stood out to me as I wish these two things were just a little bit different because they keep grabbing my attention. Separation between the vocals, between the lead and the backup. It would be nice to have just a little bit more distance and maybe volume between them. And maybe they're sharing a process that they shouldn't. Like maybe there's something that's gluing them together in some way. Maybe they're on a shared track with some compression or something and it's squeezing them together. When in reality they should be separate. And then the other thing is the sync timing of that, the vocals with the video, and that's it. Like everything else I'm really digging. I like the old school kind of raw appeal. It's just like a really fun party vibe. And you're really in it and it comes through. And I dig it. Yeah, yeah. OTT8 my hamster says, I like that bass line. Yeah. Throwback. Absolutely. Kid and Playhouse party vibe, says Andremia. Hired it. Well, it works, man. Whatever it takes to get the thing done. This is a big success right here. Big ups. Share more soon. All right, so Plate has got one here. Just no name right now, I think. Yeah, you bet. So I don't have anything really technical for you and all of that. It's really just it's pretty solid. All right, Plate, you're up. Man, the art this week. this looks like something that may have been done by some AI or something. This is cool. I like this one. All right, so right off the bat, there's a resonant peak in the mids that you should wrangle. It's a little much there. Right there in the intro, the subs, and right when Roku walks in the door, he's our low end police, of course. Welcome in, Roku. This whole thing is a really great vibe. It's got a really nice sound and it's got a really good feel. I think the palette that you're working with is really spot on. They all work well together, all the sounds. The subs are too hot, and you can roll up the frequency cutoff on those. Nice riffs that you're playing with on the keys. I think that you should shake them up after a little bit, though. Like, even if it's just like, you chop them up into like quarter bar segments or eighth bar segments or 16 bar segments or whatever, and just flip a couple in reverse or just resequence them or something to just kind of shake it up in a couple of spots to make us go, oh, wait, what? And if it just happens a couple of times here and there, then the whole feeling of it being looping isn't the focus. Now the focus is more like, when's that next thing going to happen? Right? You got people thinking about something different. And that's true in like a couple of different spots, I think, because that feeling starts to kind of creep up. And then you've got a few different things going through these filter sweeps and stuff. And I feel like maybe just pick one of the elements that you're going to do that with, and then pick some other trick to play with the other elements. Maybe one is a stutter, and maybe one gets like some saturation treatment, right? It kind of swells up in a way that you're not expecting or something like that. So that way, as these different forms of modulation are happening in close proximity to each other in the arrangement, they stand out as unique instead of the same thing is happening to these different things. So that, yeah, I think that's all I got for you. Yeah, there's no more scrolling. Let's see what the folks are saying in the chat. Rokusai says, the chords are lovely, but sonically they're a bit underwhelming. Jerksy says, more presence for the kick. Yeah, it's got a ton of bass. Yeah, I think that part of the mix stuff that we're hearing is just the bass, is just stepping on stuff. In regards to the chords, it could just be a delivery thing. And I'm not sure how you're coming up or how you get the keys in there, if they're, an instrument or if they're a loop or what. Yeah, just changing the delivery, I think, just slightly would be good. Yeah, okay, yeah, so there's a good bit of delineation that Andremi is bringing here. So when someone says kick needs more presence, they don't mean turn up the kick. Roll off the lower end, add a bit more click. Presence can kind of be perceived in a few different ways. I think that the easiest way to get presence without manipulating things too much is a little bit of saturation. If you're targeting a high frequency and you have the low end managed well, then you'll hear it will translate as greater presence in the mix. Perhaps sidechain harder or choose a better kick, which can survive peak enhancement. Yeah, Roku's basically saying the same thing. Add some saturation to the kick. It can push it more forward too without influencing the envelope of the kick too much. Yep. Hive mind. Punch. How about punch? Maybe that's the right word, huh? Anyway, Plate, this is great. I would say massage these couple of little things because really it's just minor tweaks here. And you got a good one. Or I should say even better one. Dub is next. This one is called Sapphire Melancholy Smile. Nice touch at the end there. All right. I think that at the initial point of transition, 25 seconds in, that snare could maybe have like a nice little bright accent added to it, maybe through some saturation or something, and maybe a little bit of reverb on it, so it's got like a little splash of atmosphere going into that full mix. Everything else after that is as it already is, I feel. Low end, there's three different things here. It can come down a little bit in volume, and then also the EQ on it can be tighter, both low and high. You can really wrangle this because we're not getting a whole lot from the mid-tone frequencies that are there, and they're definitely influencing the middle of your mix. And the lowest frequencies don't need to be there, and they're sucking up power that could be redistributed in the rest of your mix. So you get kind of like a double bonus from wrangling in those frequencies. And then also, it feels kind of like maybe the kick has some sub-frequencies in it, and I just roll that up tight. You already have a nice thick low end. You don't need the kick competing with it in any way more than they already compete naturally. And just as a general note, I think if you were to go through and take a look at the EQ work on each of the individual elements in your mix, you'll find that you can be a little bit more aggressive in your low end management specifically, but also maybe in a couple of spots in your highs too. And not everything needs to be fully free range in the mix. And just remember that you can trust that you've got a lot of other frequencies in your mix that are going to fill those gaps, right? And the more controlled you have each one of those elements in a track like this, the more clarity you're going to bring to each one of the individual characters in play. So I would say that those are the big takeaways on this one. Let's see what the chat is saying. Ithafol. Ithafol? Welcome in. How you doing? Happy Friday. Roku says, bass is a bit hot, tame it a bit. The tone is fantastic. Your mix is a bit muted. Be bold in your decisions. Don't be scared to push certain things forward and other things back. This also concerns your stereo field. A mix doesn't have to be down the center, but it can lean in any direction. Agreed. Roku says, I'd argue that it's probably your mix positions or headphones that you're trying to compensate for. Deb is saying, fantastic, recorded all this, took a screenshot of the notes. Awesome. We'll come back when it's cleaned up. Excellent. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. Always good to hear you. All right. Jerksy, you're up. Major pop vibes with tight floaty vocals. Hope it delivers the way it was intended to. This one is Lucid Dream featuring Sawyer. All right, a few things here. So number one, this is a great, great song. Your arrangement, the composition, the the aesthetic of the whole thing, the palette that you're working with, the sound design and sample selection, the the vocals, the vocal processing, the delivery, all of that stuff is really, really good. There's several different things that I think that you should address in the mix because I think that this is a really good song and it's worthy of airplay. So let's run through that. Small transition effect at the start. It starts so suddenly that I think it's a little bit jarring. It's fine to have something that starts suddenly, but it'd be cool just to have, even if it's just a little like quarter note or eighth note reversal, like whoosh, something like that would be nice. The swelling element in the beginning is a bit too present in the mix as it is. And the guitar is as well, just in relation to the other things in the mix. Um, but here's what I suggest. I suggest starting over from the very beginning with your volume mix and pick one hero for each of the main moments in your track and mix everything else up under it. Nothing else can actually be at that same level. There's too many things in this mix right now that are kind of at that same perceived loudness level, and it's making it hard for the listener to really understand what is the thing that is supposed to be the lead right now. Is it the vocal or is it the guitar? Because it seems like the guitar is very much a backing, supporting element, but at times it's much louder than the vocals, or perceived to be louder than the vocals anyway. And part of that is that it's on the side, and things on the side aren't normally louder than things in the middle, and the middle is normally where you should expect to find the things of great importance. So I would start again with the volume mix with that in mind, and don't let the sides get too loud, and try to maintain a really good balance, even when you think other things should be coming in the mix or coming up in the mix. That just means that something else should be coming down. There could be slight movements through volume automation and stuff to kind of bring the extra surges of dynamic energy and the emotional swells that come in just the right moments. All of those things can be heard through dynamics, but right now, without that dynamic range, you don't actually get those moments. You hear all of the sonic elements, but they don't have the emotional impact that you're seeking. So, subs. The subs are a little hot in the mix level wise. The low end that you're cutting off, it should be cut off just a little bit higher up. Maybe like a 45 or so on a track like this. Hertz, that is. Loudness through limiting and like just the over compression, I think it's really hurting the delivery of the song. And if you were to back off the large majority of it, this whole thing would feel so, so good. And already touched on the volume mix. So dial in those three things. And I think you've got something that really breathes and impresses people. And then the other thing is stereo management. So there's definitely kind of a buildup of things like here, and you've got a lot of distance between here and here in the stereo spectrum. So kind of scale those things out or spread those things out, the different elements in the mix. And maybe not even something way out here that's important like the guitar. Maybe save something way out here for something like a little bit of ear candy, something more atmospheric and flighty. And keep the guitar maybe a bit more like here or something. All right, I think that's what I got for you. And let's see what people are saying here. Do, 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 do. Saf says, like to hear it a bit more of the chorus effect on the guitar. By the way, this is like The Cure decided to make some new electronic music. Yeah, right? Dremia is saying guitar down, a little less stereo, maybe some reverb. I don't know, I'm just a robot. You're a pretty good robot. Roku says subs are too dominating, roll off the low end, and perhaps distort your bass. You're trying to compensate for the fact that it doesn't have many overtones or harmonics. It's not the sub levels that are the problem. Say more guitar, or more chorus on the guitar, says Saf, and the mix a little bit wetter. I do agree that the bass feels too over dominating, or it's dominating the track a bit. Roku says, I'd say it's an issue of priority in your track. Focus less on the elements that are up front, make it about the vocal, and give some variation on the guitar. Your pad synths are overwhelmed by the sheer power of your bass and drums. Practice restraining yourself. Do tend to overcompensate. Good advice. Good. All right, cool. Yeah, hopefully all this makes sense and it vibes with you and it makes it even better. Well, helps you make it even better. You're the one doing all the hard work over there. And Roku, brother, you are up next. Did some cleaning up, wrote the violin and cello lines further out, still looking for the right notes in some places, and started doing the brass a little bit. Woodwinds will be next, and most of the electronica is now locked in. Still much to be done sonically, but more importantly, I hope the story is starting to get across. Nice. Let's check it. This one is called And So It Begins. Let's just switch this over to Firefox really quick and try it. I have a feeling if you guys are hearing something weird, that happened the other day with Safari and OBS. Let's just check this. Tell me if this sounds a little bit better. Is that better? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's there's some kind of conflict between Safari and OBS right now. Yo, what up, Submerts? Respect the gazelle. Thank you, homie. All right, now that I've got the whole experience, I want to go back to this one spot here and listen to these perks. All right, dude, this is beautiful. I love all the additions. I really do. These little stutters at like 105 or 6 or something like that. Maybe a small accent on those with the perks. I want them just a little bit more. Dude, just so many good things. So many good things. Um, really nothing to pick apart, obviously. I'm just stoked to hear what comes next. Oh, let's see what people are saying. Oh man. You made OTT's water or ears leak. ears leak, eyes leak. Man, it's been a long week. It's been a long week. Having a hard time getting my words out. That is how you do it, Scruffy Rico. What is the world's oldest recording, Zach?
We're listening to these sounds through a glass darkly, like an old photograph. And the ghost is coming out, almost reaching us, almost reaching the present day.
The 10-second track was played for the first time in public at a gathering of audio experts at Stanford University. They also demonstrated how early recordings were made.
Get out! Woof, woof, woof.
Although the oldest recording sounds more like snoring than singing, it's still music to researchers' ears.
We believe this is the patrimony.
That's amazing. Man, it would be so interesting to go back in time and witness a lot of that stuff, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. All right, who's up next? Oh, actually, let me get rid of the Safari browser. You really don't need Safari running right now. Schnaxy. It's a great name. More. Oh, man. The gauntlet has been thrown down. It's competition happening between Scruffy Rico and Rokusai. More music, please. Yeah, I wonder if anyone's going to claim that. Right, Samaritans? Oh, from the start. I thought I was clicking. Hold on a second.
We're listening to these sounds through a glass.
Recorded. Scientists say the grainy, high-pitched sound of a woman singing a French folk song is the oldest known recorded human voice.
It proceeds by 17
Wow.
years.
Voice.
It proceeds by 17.
Known recorded human voice.
It proceeds by 17.
Wow. It's like so faint. I want to hear a really clear, well, there is no clear recording of it, a clearer recording of it. Let's use the time machine to claim that patent. Oh, man. All right. Schnaxy. Great name, dude. What is it? It's 12:20. We should probably close this queue. We'll open it back up for folks if we have some extra time, but got a bunch in here. All right, so Schnaxy. This one's called Vibes. Okay, Schnaxy, here's what I got for you on this one. Saturation on the 808. And I would say, oops, vary the arrangement, like mix up the arrangement and the loopiness of it, like the repetitive nature of it. It just needs to be changed. And I think that when you get to your change up at 224, this is basically the first full mix segment. So like really you could take out 2 minutes. You could take out like 120 seconds basically of all of the stuff before that, and just make that part of the intro. And this is where everything really starts to hit. But you've only got a couple of things that pop off in this short amount of time, and then we're back into that same loop again. So what I would suggest is build up something interesting that you can do that's really playful in regards to that loop. Okay. And then as that changes over time continually again and again and again, that can be the continuity, okay, that is lacking here. And then build up around the full mix stuff that you've got going there with all of those other elements that you've introduced. Instead of moving away from it quickly, lean into it and start to build around it. That's probably what I would recommend to get some kind of traction and movement forward on this one. And I think that you should focus like entirely on the structure of the song right now, and not the mixing. Just really just try and incorporate as much fun and change over time as you can, and really get some movement going in this thing. Because you've got a good sample, you've got a good palette. It just it's not really going anywhere right now. So that's what I would do with that one. And also, if you're unsure of where something is going to go or how to like get to a drop, or figure out what happens after the drop or whatever, just start building it, because your mind will start to go places. Like if you were to put a riser in here, right, that's going to slowly increase tension over time, what happens when you get to that breaking point? Like what's popping off in your mind when you're sitting there listening to something's coming, something's coming, something's coming, and right? I think that um, that's where the next step, I think, happens in the development of all of this, is just kind of push yourself off of this cliff and see what happens when you fall. Let's see what people are saying in here. Antone, welcome in, homie. How was your stream? 808 Diffraction, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Happy Friday. Zandino, welcome in. I collect people on SoundCloud. Iron Imp is here. How you doing, man? For kind of minimal techno stuff, you could borrow some tricks, fades, and mutes on individual elements over time to introduce some change over what's usually fairly loopy and hypnotic. Yeah, for sure. Schnaxy, you are welcome. Bring it back after you make the next step on this one, and we'll see what it sounds like. Antone, how's it, man? Randomizer on chop loop sample could add some finesse. Schnaxy is saying, one question, could you hear the kicks at all on headphones? Yeah, I could. It's just that they were small. It was just really pushed back. And I think that the 808s are good. They could just use a little saturation, and don't worry about the mix so much. Like in regards to like processing stuff and whatnot, focus more on volume and pan position at this point, I would say. Because you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of like trying to fix a sound and like you start to get frustrated with it, so then you go nowhere with the entire track. You know what I mean? I would say try to find your groove in this. You found some good sounds to work with, and you figured out how to get them in there together, to get it started. But where is it going? What's the next big step? And if you're unsure, I think just simple remix stuff, right? Like resequencing things, playing with pitch, playing with reversals and stuttering and gating, filter sweeps, stuff like that. If there is activity happening, happening, then there's interest and people are going to stick around, right? But it's also got to be developing. It can't just be movement. It can't just be change. There's got to be some kind of forward momentum, right? Some kind of an arc or a storyline to it. Thank you, Zamerits. Good stream, chilling, excellent. Good to hear it, man. Idea, composition, then mixed, says Zamerits. Yeah, I agree with that. Liquid Phase, welcome in, homie. How are you? We got to catch up. Time has been flying. But I can't help the mixing as I go. Yeah, no, it's kind of like cleaning as you go. If you leave it all to the end, then it kind of feels overwhelming. So little things, you know, EQs, pan position, volume adjustments along the way. Excellent, excellent. You are welcome. Hope it all makes sense. Yeah, we do. Scruffy says, I do the same, hence why mine are always mixed real quiet. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? And it's good to hear stuff in a raw state for feedback. And Saf always comes up with the best topics. Like he'll book a session. This guy is so patient with me. He will wait weeks to get in for a session, and he did again this last time. And he picked a really good one yesterday. We met and we hung out for a while, and we talked about deconstructed club and post club, and how to kind of lean into extreme juxtapositions and stuff. It was a fun one. That was a good one. J-Will Beats, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Hey, don't forget, we are almost to the end of the month, which means that we will be doing our listening party soon, our community listening party for the community competition. Our monthly competition is open to the entire community this month, not just subscribers. You can produce any genre, any format, any length, just follow the community rules, no hate and no bigotry and none of that. There's only one caveat. There's only one thing you got to do to qualify, and that is use at least one sound from nature. That's it. That's the loosest campaign or competition we've ever had, I think. So make whatever the hell you want. Put at least one nature sound into it. And for those that were here during the 1K stream last week or whenever it was, y'all got a free sound pack called 404 Drums Deconstructed from one of my other labels called Sound Freaks. And if you want to have a little side competition and play, whoever makes the beat that gives us the best stank face while listening to it wins. So anyway, you guys should make some stuff this weekend. Make a beat, make a 4-bar loop, make a trailer, make a 5-minute song, whatever you're inspired to make. Stick a piece of nature in it. Everybody who participates gets a free sound pack. And don't forget, if you are subbed, you get a free sound pack every single month. And this month, you get to pick your own. Just DM me with your selection if you have not already. Zamerits, you are up next. Oh yeah, Stank Face Award. J. Will Beats, how you doing, man? Happy Friday. The scroll won't be hard. He'll be playing percussion. Nice. That's awesome. All right, so Zamerit says, been making this last night and mixing through the show. Oh, nice. Excellent. Current rough sofa mix on laptop speakers. I can't stop pitch bending, even on ARPs now. That's a phenomenal thing. Here we go. This is great artwork. Fortunate Lie is what this one is called. Okay, well, there's one thing that you could do to greatly improve this. It's currently sitting at 2 minutes 33 seconds. It'd be better if this was sitting at, I don't know, more, just longer, more. Because it kind of upset me when it ended a little bit. Dude, this is good. I dig it. It's so simple and lovely, and you're giving everything time and space. I love that all you really do is chase inspiration, man. It's like you find something that wiggles into your ear and you're like, ooh, this. And then you just play with it and find little sounds that will go with it. And you just make something beautiful. It's lovely. I'm glad that we are along for the ride here. Ithfall says, yeah, agree. Longer, please. Samaritans. Now we're all just upset. Like the synth squiggle on the outro, says Iron Imp. Yeah, just kind of grooved on it. Yeah. Yeah, this is, it's what it feels like. It's what it feels like. You're just like, man, that sound. I'm going to play with that sound now. I was having a call with a really good homie last night. God, stayed up way too late. I think we were on the call until like 2 o'clock or something. But we're just dinking around in Logic and playing. And he made this comment of like, I don't understand how you can make a sound and move on. If I make a sound like that, or I hear a sound like that, I have to stop and make a sound with it, or a song with it. And I was like, oh yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, Zamerits. There's another guy. He hears one sound for 1 second. He's like, wait, hold on a second. I just got to get this song out really quick. It's good stuff, homie. Franzard, you are up next. Horizon is the name of this one. Whoa. Hold on a second. Zamerits, are you saying that right now you have 700 of these? And am I understanding correctly that you wish you had a way to get these into people's projects? I know this is kind of a silly question, but are you wanting to make money from those things, or are you just wanting to get the stuff out there? You can answer in DMs if you like. No, pass, play. Dragons. Send them all to me. You don't really know. Yeah, shoot me a DM if you want to have a little conversation about it. All right, anyway, Franzard, you are up next. Yes. JWell Beats, I did hear the news about Roe versus Wade. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of moving backward after making progress on things. I want to lighten the mood a little bit with Franzard here. Listen to Horizon. I think we all need a break from freaking politics in this world right now. It's like have a week off of political news and just new music. This is lovely. All right. This is really nice, Franzar. It's a lovely, um, it's a lovely palette of sounds that you're using, and there's this certain kind of tension that's running through it, that's kind of on par with like the lush open um, movement that you've got running through everything. So it's really cool. The little formant guys that are panning, they sound kind of vocally. I think those can come up with maybe just some very simple saturation, give them a little bit of edge and definition so they stand out just a little bit more. Excuse me. Love the little string stutter effect of the rolling plucks. I think it's a really nice texture to melt into during that little breakdown moment there. At 220, I'm sitting there thinking, this synth pad, this high synth pad is nice. It could actually use another layer up, octave up. And then the vocals come in. It felt really nice. It'd be cool if they came in and then slowly moved a bit more out to the sides. So it's like they first come in and they're kind of tight focused with that pad, and then they just kind of open up and you kind of fall into the mix. It'd be really nice. The ARP that's running through from the intro to the end, maybe after the intro wraps and the full mix is fully introduced, it can be freed up to actually move around in the mix. It might be a nice, interesting little touch. The falling pitch pad, like the pitch bends, the trailing down, it's mostly heard on the left. It feels like maybe there's some low end in that sound that's keeping it from being heard clearly. So maybe just some tighter EQ on that. If that isn't the case, maybe just a simple overdrive with no drive added and target like 5K or something like that, just to bump the presence. And that's it. Let's see what else people are saying. Upside down feeling, says Zamertz. Purple says, makes me feel like I'm in the 80s. Yeah, Tremties is saying ooh and ah. Scruffy Rico says, stunning sounds. Iron Imp says, those two little notes with the slight vibrato to them are a really good anchor. Love the bouncing ball percussions too. All of it, really. Zamertz is saying it sounds a bit like Moby. Now cool. Tremtai says, I want just a touch of saturation or drive on that stutter just to give it an edge. Oh man, and Iron Imp is calling out the little ooh wah wah that pops out like a soft sonar ping. Great accent. Nice soundscape, says Zamertz. Yeah, so people are absolutely loving this. Structure and harmony are great. Subviz says lovely. Iron Imp also likes the artwork for it. Yeah, everything's great. Ross, welcome in. Happy Friday. He's saying, agreed, everything opens over itself is a great idea. Yeah. Ranzard saying, really appreciate your review. You bet, man. I hope that it vibes with you and helps you make it even better. Ross, you're up next. All right. Just released this, going to be moving to all platforms next week, so some time to make changes. Did you do this as a self-release, or is this on a label? Because there's rules about what we can, play on Twitch and whatnot. Hey, we're not too bad on time either. All right, well, I'm going to fire this up, and we'll just roll the dice on this one. This one's called Fades Away.
I've been lost now for many days. Missed the sight, took my breath away. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sorry. Listen to the words and understand them, I can hardly. I feel like I got the golden ticket up, like I'm Charlie. Joker, she a Harley. Try and say what's up, no response, yeah, it's gnarly. Looking in your eyes and I can see it live. Van Gogh nights, they were started. Baby, you wanna ride back? Riding with Bacardi bags. So where the fun in that? Gone while you ride fast. You can fuck with me, I teach your body how to blast. Coming up in 617, that's my habitat. Later they gon' want about me like, how you ain't doing that? Racks coming up, they fluid now. I want the grind, let's get to it now. Pack is hard to intuit, just again, why you run away? Lost in my own way. Fuck it, we back in our bags for another day. Cash grab, backstab, there's the old say. Hey, you gotta chill, got a knack for making me wanna stay. Get you out of the moon, right? Lost in the sea, I was tossed in this bitch. Burn my frost like a fish. Yeah, you froze me with a wish. Now I'm steady getting back now. Shed a lot of weight from pounds. Kick it like it's roundhouse, yeah. I know I wanted you to make a sound, I knew you never do it, yeah. Let my songs influence, yeah. All that straight for the dome, my brain's in doing, yeah. Way about the end, cause there's no way that you knew it, yeah. Racks up a blue, yeah. The bank all nights, they were started. Baby, you wanna ride back? Ready with Bacardi bags. So where the fun in that? Don't know why you ride fast. You can fuck with me, I teach your body how to blast. Coming up in 617, that's my habitat. Smoking straight sticks, yeah. In Boston, that's your gayless, yeah. 14 on miss, yeah. I was 19 last year, going quick, yeah. And the time goes, yeah. Yeah, they don't climb my walls no more. Not even things I do. Yeah, I'm tossed up, I'll still run it back for you time and time and time and time again. You steady locked up, why you telling me lies and lies and lies and lies again? You weren't the person that I knew you were. See it in your eyes, my friend. Put me in a mental prison, I could try. Catch me when I'm tired, tied around my head. Lost you and making it a big scene. It was just smoking good green in the nights of the hotel. I can never tell if you mean well. Seems like you were on the wrong team, yeah. The bank all nights, they were started. Baby, you wanna ride back? Ready with Bacardi bags. So where the fun in that? Don't know why you riding fast. You can fuck with me, I teach your body how to blast. Coming up in 617, that's my habitat.
Yeah. I did not touch the volume. Drum ties. This is good. The song is great. The performance is great. There's a couple of things on the mix. Kick could use a little saturation to get just a little bit more punch. The 808 could use a little less sub frequency, so move the cutoff up just a little bit. And if it still feels like it's a little too dominant in that first minute of the track, I would bring it down like a couple of dB. When you cut away just a little bit more of the low end frequency in that 808, it's going to pop more in the track, because when you take away the lowest frequencies, more energy is distributed into the rest of the sound, right? So everything's going to come up a little bit when you do that. So you might need to bring it down just a touch after you do that. The kick balance feels really good at 55 seconds. So you might want to take a look at the mixing at, say, like 40 seconds versus 55 seconds and see, is there a difference there? Or is it just a difference in the elements that are being heard at that moment in time? And if it's the latter, if it's the second, if it's well, we just have different things playing right now, and that's what's making the kick sound different, then there's a balance issue there that is all good from 55 seconds onward, but before that, there's some imbalance, some competition or obfuscation. So vocal processing is great. So are the harmonies. It'd be great to have a little more presence on the backing vocal. The main vocal could have just a touch of tube amp to warm it up, like just something to pass the vocals through, just to give it just a little bit more like warmth and presence, so it sits just a little bit more on top of everything. And then after that, like I was saying, I think that the backing vocal will need just a little bit of saturation, maybe something not quite as well defined as what's being put on the main vocal. But they're so close to being just right now. Great performance. The claps can be a little more present in that breakdown. They're very muted, an accent on the highs. The snare could use a little accent up top as well, I think, just in general. It doesn't need to like really crack, but just maybe just a little bit more up top, just to give it a little bit of shine. Really dig the choice around the outro reversal as well. Let's see what people are saying. All right, cool. TNL22 Man. Not sure how to say this without butchering the name, so sorry if I have. We've just closed down the queue because we'll peace out in a bit, but we still do have a few tracks in the queue, and you should stick around and listen because it's really good stuff, I'm sure. Let's see here. Vocal harmonies are killer, says Trem Ties. Very nice, says Zamertz. Iron Imp, thank you for explaining the PRO stuff. Loving those fifth harmonies. Nice stutter. Trem Ties is digging this one. Saf, have a good weekend, man. The kick rolls and small edits sound really good. All right. Don't pump the volume, add another layer or something to make it hit harder for that last chorus instead. Yeah. Oftentimes it would be better if you kind of slowly take away stuff in the mix, like volume or presence wise, and then add it all back to get a nice little kind of boost feel or effect. There are other ways to achieve that difference in loudness there, instead of just going straight for the boost. Yeah. Yeah, reverse lyrics are good too. I dig this one, Ross. Definitely keep coming back with more. Ithafall. I'm hoping I'm saying this right. You are up. You are welcome. Much more in the works. Excellent. Good enough. All right, close enough for jazz. All right, cool. I like the attitude. All right, this one is called E25.8. No title yet. A bit too long in the middle, among other issues. Let's dig in. All right, so we are to understand that there is more yet to come on this. This is fantastic news because this is a jam. Like, this is a serious, awesome, fun vibe. Just in time for summertime. And nice that you're asking for some Benson vibe and you got the Benson vibe. Claps seem a little dampened compared to the rest of the crispiness of the hats, etc. The hats themselves, I think, could come down just a couple of dB. Love the horn stabs and all of the other supporting embellishments throughout this thing. The timing of it all is great, and the transitions in and out of the solos are great. Making movement for the different players on stage is fantastic. On the keys, is there room to tighten the lower end just a little bit? This mallet, I was listening to it during the solo, and I wasn't sure if it really needed to be fully centered during the solo. I was kind of feeling like it could actually lean maybe a little bit to the left. Total taste thing. Nice transition again and again and again. 438, I felt like it was getting a little loopy here. It was one of the only spots in the whole track where I felt like it wasn't actually progressing or offering up much change over time for a period of like 4 bars or more. So a quick little shake up there, just kill 4 bars and move on, or maybe just a little change before the change up. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Feel a little muddy in places. Yeah, it's I think maybe just some tighter EQ wrangling in the mids, mostly. Some of the mid lows. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. All right, Alex is up next. This one is called Regrets. Oh, you are welcome for the feedback. I hope it jives with you.
Ron, that's not funny.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm stuck 6 meters down in a dark deep hole. Lightning struck. Lord, tell me your purpose of placing me here. Please tell me, Lord, I really want to hear your answer. Please hear me, Lord. I'm filled with regret, I gotta repent. Oh, I cannot stand, can you hold my hand? Oh, I do not know where I could land. The feeling is strange, wonder if I can change. Oh, I don't know where I could go. Don't know if I should run away fast or slow. Oh God, you see I need your help. I know you follow all my steps. God's plan can be a mystery, but it will help me make history. Passion that I have for music, I don't ever want to stop, excuse me. In His plan I always trust. I know that there's a purpose, but I've been feeling stuck 6 meters down in a deep dark hole. Please tell me, Lord, I really want to hear your answer. Please hear me, Lord. I'm filled with regret, I gotta repent. Oh, I cannot stand, can you hold my hand? Oh, I do not know where I could land. The feeling is strange, wonder if I can change. Oh, I don't know where I could go. Don't know if I should run away fast or slow. Oh God, you see I need your help. I know you follow all my steps.
All right, so for this one, a little bit more space on the vocals. I love like the dry, close proximity, intimacy. But I do want just a little bit of like space around it, and then a touch more on the processed backing vocal, and then, or secondary vocal at least, and then in general the mix seems held back and not up to par with the vocals, especially the drums. They seem kind of weak and just kind of pushed back in the mix. So bringing those up in the mix, treating them in similar ways as you have the vocals to get them to really sound full and well defined, and then bring them back down in the mix a bit, so they're supportive and not driving or competing with the vocals, because where the vocals are, it feels good right now. And the 808, I feel, could use maybe a little bit of saturation on top of it. Like, it feels good mix wise, but like in regards to loudness and position, I just wish that I could hear just a little bit more detail in it. And I think generating some harmonics over the top of it would be good. And that's really it. This is quite solid. I want to see what people in the chat are saying. OTT ate my hamster says, love how everything has been so different this evening. Tremtai says, oh my God, I'm in love already. Alex says, you're right. I should have turned up the beat and turned down my vocals a bit, I think. This is Killer Dude, says Tremtais. Nice come down here, maybe a thicker reverb on the vocals at the outro. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, good stuff, man. I think people dig it. It's a good vibe. It's a really solid sound. I think you have very little to fix in the mix. It's just a level of balance, honestly, at this point, and presence. So you will absolutely get it sorted because you did well with the vocals. Nandino. This next one is Nandino. Take the train. Excellent. Yeah, you are welcome, Alex. Always good to hear you. Keep coming back with more. This one's Nandino. Oh, hold on a second. He's got a note here. Hey, Chris, an old sound I know that I need vocals, and I had lyrics, but I'd like voices like cameo back and forth, for example, but very hard to find. Hope you enjoy the 80s funk-like track. Nice. Okay, here we go. I hear some Snoop on it too. That's a good vibe, man. That's a good vibe. Nice throwback tune, dude. EQ the reverb on the bass. I feel like it's a little wide and it's a little needing to be wrangled down there. The clap reverb feels a little odd for me. I think that auditioning a different reverb might be the answer here. You might just want to cut out the lows and see how it sounds, but the phased, like metallic reflection does kind of stand apart from the rest of the mix. That pad is awesome, but it might be even more awesome if you layer up an octave under it. And the bass, in general, I think could come down like maybe 2 or 3 dB. Switch up the snare, says Ethanol. Ethanol. Ithafol. Ah, it's Friday. Yeah, and Iron It makes a good point. Be easy to soften with just a non-resonant 6 dB per octave LP filter. Boom, boom, boom. Green Hollow Music, welcome in. Y'all, thank you for hanging out with me on this fine Friday. Don't forget that we've got our community challenge happening, and our deadline for that is next week. The first is when we will listen as a community and vote on who we think has submitted the best track for the month. The theme this month is nature. You need to use at least one nature sound in your mix. Other than that, there are no restrictions. Everything else goes. Let's see who's up and playing right now. That is a catchy tune. It's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day, probably. All right, let's see here. Let's keep the party going. Let's go say hi to Josh. I appreciate you guys spending Friday with me. I really do. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, that you stay inspired, and that you make something awesome. It's Wild Boars. We'll have to circle back and catch you next week because we are on our way out. Say hi to Josh. He's coming up next. Peace out, y'all. Big love.